Welcome back to Absolutely Marvel and DC. I'm back, Hassan. I'm back. I finally caught up with Superman.
He's finally with us. He certainly hasn't skipped around at all. We're here.
No,
we're all caught up.
We're all caught up. I'm good to go. This week turned into kind of a weird week. I caught up on a lot of shows. Superman. I caught up on Home Economics, a crappy sitcom I watch. I caught up on Vox Machina. I'm watching Vox Machina now.
Ooh,
I watched a whole bunch.
But
I caught up with Superman, and I'm here to talk to you about episode 4
of Superman and Lois. Yeah,
of Superman and Lois, and I don't remember anything other than Bizarro. So that's all. I'm just gonna say Bizarro rocked. That's all it's worth it in this episode, and that's it. See you next week, Hassan.
I'll give the quickie summary because I just we watched this episode last week. You guys are wondering where did the episode go this week? Well, me and Benny foolishly thought that there was still an episode this week, and by the time we caught up on filming, we're like, we could do this right now. The Olympics hiatus had taken place, so we just have an episode we watched a week ago.
Yeah, I want to say it was for this little monster right here. Mm-hmm. She got sick, so I couldn't film last week, which is why we were on a weird hiatus. And now she's like, what the hell are you doing? I was sleeping.
But yeah, let's do a quickie summary of this episode. You have Lois continuing down the plot rabbit hole of Lucy Lane and the cult, and how this cultist lady really indoctrinated Lucy and made her just a really crazy person doing erratic things and potentially almost committing suicide to reach the other place or something like that. It was she saw her other self, which is very interesting because they're leaning into this very weird, scary, occult vibe storyline. So that happened. On the other front, we're preparing for Sarah Lane Cushing's quinceañera, and his mom's running for mayor. Not super interesting stuff going on with that storyline, and then we get to the meat of the episode. We got Clark still getting visions from the other Bizarro, or for the other Superman, the other Clark, and they're increasingly getting more and more hectic. The steel suit is damaged, but when Bizarro shows up on the farm unannounced, a fight ensues, an amazing fight, mind you, and our boy John Henry, with a broken suit, calls the hammer without the gauntlet, messes up his hand, smacks the hell out of Bizarro.
I was hoping we were going to get more to that, but I'll let you keep going.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it.
Smacks the hell out of Bizarro, and then he disappears for a little bit. We get another fight at the end of the episode that includes the military superheroes that good old U.S. government thought was going to be a good idea to put
Superman of America.
The Superman of America handling all the threats that Superman can't. And obviously 2 of them get killed in seconds. The 2 characters that we didn't know. We know the other kid from the first season.
Yeah.
The other 2 get absolutely murdered. And then John Henry shows up, gets put into a coma, and then the episode ends. We hear a little bit of a little cliffhanger on our boy Jordan Kent is going to be training with old Sam Lane to practice his powers. Oh, and his brother is a snorting ex-kryptonite getting his own powers as well. So
right off the bat, we're going to say, having caught up on all these episodes back to back to back, and trying to speed binge this so that I was ready to watch it last week, which is the funniest part because we didn't film last week because of the little cat over there who's running around like she's just, I don't know, she's a cat. Anyway.
Yep.
There's, compared to last season, I feel like there's a lot of plot threads running. And it's turning into, where we're starting to prioritize the important ones. Like, the Lotta Lang one, I don't care. Like, the Lois Lane one, I feel like could be interesting, but you're not as interesting as Jordan learning his powers, John getting powers, and Superman fighting Bizarro. And even those are kind of getting in that bumped off. You just went through 5 different plots, and there's probably some C and D plots involving John Henry, because obviously the hand is broken now, so where's that going to go? He's in a coma. What's happening with the daughter? There's so many things happening already. I don't know what because I feel like it's getting the CW syndrome. Flash does this, and it's so annoying.
Look, me and Dan talked about this while you're gone. I think it's CW PTSD. I really think that this show has the chops to it gives us a lot, then it focuses up on a few things, and then it'll slowly reconverge everything by the end. I have faith in these writers so far. It seems that the pay budget, the little money extra they're making from HBO Max, they're like, okay, we'll maybe do our jobs now, as opposed to what they do on The Flash, where they're like, what should we write this week? He has to run fast? but this time faster.
This time he needs motivation. Who's giving him the speech? Who's giving him the speech?
Who say run, Barry, run this week?
But, I mean, I'm not against it so far. Like, I don't feel like it's so overpacked that it's just ruining the episodes. I'm worried we're on that path, though. Like, we're going in that direction of just too much happening. Because we could very easily have Bizarro and Jordan, and then Lois Lane and John, and then, like, I liked last season because they broke the plot down, and we had little arcs, and things happened very specifically in those arcs.
I'll say that I do appreciate that every character has something real to do. There's a very real plot going on with Flash. I feel like you have a whole motley crew of cast members that are sitting around just being fluff plot devices every episode. They don't have any intrigue. This one, Lois's storyline, like I'm actually really interested in this Lucy Lane like scary situation, because the way they showed it last episode, just having all these followers and the manipulation tactics that Lucy was going to go on, and it's also the same Lucy Lane that we saw back in Supergirl, which I think is really, really cool that they brought that actress back, because it does loosely tie in those worlds, even though Supergirl is an insane show and Superman Lois so far has been really, really good. I'm interested in that, and I like that John's getting a version of powers in an unconventional way, and
I like that a lot. I think that John getting his powers in the unconventional way and introducing the Supermen of America. When they first appeared, like how you said in the recap, we don't know who the other two were. I saw that and I'm like, I know the guy in the front. Wait, what's going on? So I Googled it and I was like, they don't have any backstory. Oh, they're dead. They're dead. Yeah. Don't worry about it. I'm fine.
Yeah. Who are these guys? Do I need to put up a comic panel to show everybody? Yeah. Here's who they are in the comics origins episode on the comic story.
That's what I'm saying. I was like,
nope.
Crap. Who are the? Oh, they're dead. It's all good. I do like that John is still getting powers because that's kind of what everyone expected. Mm-hmm. But it's an unconventional route. And I do feel like early on we had theories that Jordan was going to turn evil and John was going to turn good and they would have to fight. I feel like we're going in the other direction. Like John's going to kind of go evil.
I don't think until if the show gets up to season 4 or 5, we're really gonna do the evil brother arc. It really feels like this show is not doing that CW melodrama because their motivation to be evil would have to be, Dad's really mean to me and I'm gonna kill everybody. Like that doesn't seem like a good motivation.
No, but what if the Bizarro arc is going to end by 7 or 8? Then we move into John's kind of taking too much kryptonite. He's feeling rejected by his dad because he doesn't have powers, so he got the powers, but now he has to keep taking the kryptonite X or whatever it's called.
Well, I'll say that like his character doesn't show an inferiority to not having powers like Jordan. Like it's not. I think had John gotten powers and Jordan had it, there really would have been a big focus on Jordan being like jealous and envious. But John is okay with it. He only took X kryptonite because of football. He purely took it, like he took it to get a leg up because his teammate was also taking drugs, and he's like, I want to elevate myself. Obviously, he didn't take into account that he's literally a Kryptonian, and huffing kryptonite is a bad idea, man. Come on, even half that's gonna hurt you somehow. But I don't know. I don't think we're gonna go that route because I really view these characters as more mature than your standard CW character. I think John and Jordan have more maturity than an Iris West has ever had. Pure emotional understanding, and I think that everything that we're doing with Lois, I think the weakest point of Lois's storyline right now is her supporting cast member. I think that woman is just like not super interesting to watch. The other reporter.
Yeah, well, they started off with her being interesting, and then as soon as Lois came in, it was like, I'm really important. Oh, it's Lois Lane. I am no longer important. Like, like it was just...
Yeah, and then just they use her to get angry at Lois. Like this whole car ride, she's like, we're going to get in the car, we're going to put on some music, and I need to unwind. And I was like, okay, like this is okay. Whatever.
I feel like I'm watching something else now.
It feels like that was a very weird plot point, and like the weird, like crappy blonde wig she had to wear. Like it was very.
I loved her disguise because I'm like, come on, that doesn't work. You look just like you.
I always think of the line in Ant-Man and the Wasp where they're wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses. He's like, this isn't us in disguise. This is us at a baseball game. And it like always rings true of like superhero disguise. It's always the exact same thing. But, you know, I see what you're saying. We're spreading out really far, but I think this show is going to slowly pick storylines. We knock John Henry out so we can take some time away from Natalie and John Henry, I think. Give him an episode of healing. Maybe we'll see one scene of them talking and then slowly make our way through. Because that's going to be...
I'm happy with that because John Henry now to me has been the least interesting.
Really?
Like once his main arc was done, and now we moved into the whole well, he wants to help, but he doesn't want to help, but his daughter's here and they're not home, and it's his wife, but it's not his wife. And like the whole plot is, I feel like, it's just spinning its wheels right now as to what they're doing with him. And I'm just kind of like, take him off the table until you're ready to do something. Please don't just have him, well, I'm conveniently always around, but I really shouldn't be. You know, like.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll say I love this actor. I love John Henry, and like
the
his
actor's great.
His anger towards Superman last season, and then his begrudging like I'll fight with you at the end of last season to now where he's like, yeah, Clark and I are friends. Like he says it, and it's really weird. Like they were having, he's like, when we put a pot of coffee on, and they sit down and they like talk when Bizarro pulls up to fight them. So I always like buddy cop movies that show up when characters don't like each other and they grow to like each other. So it feels like a Steel Superman buddy cop situation. I like that.
And I love that. I just don't want to waste him. I'd rather him be off the table for a few episodes, and then we can really focus on him doing something. You know.
And I think like we conk him out for a while. He's going to be in a coma. He needs to heal and recover. And then while that's happening, Natalie is building the steel suit because she's smart enough to builds a badass new version of the steel suit. Let's get the S. He's earned the S on the chest, you know. And then
I just want it to not look like Doom Guy.
Yeah, he does look like the Doom Guy. I don't understand the helmet. I think the suit looks good. The helmet is not it for this character.
Yeah,
but. You know, so far this show has been surprising me. The directorial debuts on the show have been really, really interesting. Like David Ramsey has done an episode, so we got Diggle. We have Amy Jo Johnson, the Pink Power Ranger from the 90s, has directed an episode. Tom Cavanaugh directed an episode, so Reverse Flash. And now, if you ever watch Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Simmons on that show, the tech girl, she's directing an episode of the show as well. So
that I did not know.
It's so fun that we're having all these really cool actors that we've been seeing for 10 years in the superhero space make their directorial debut on this show, and they're doing an amazing job. And I think it's because they've all been on this show. They've all been on a version of these shows. So I'm very, very invested in Superman and Lois. I really hope they don't fumble the bag, because I've been online arguing with DCEU fans, and I'm like, I think Tyler Hoechlin right now is the definitive Superman for me. I don't say I don't love Henry Cavill. I love him, but he did not have time. And he hasn't done shit. Oh my God, he hasn't done a thing in that role.
I love him as Superman, his visual appearance, and I liked Man of Steel. But since Man of Steel, we haven't had proper Superman with Henry Cavill. He's been in the back seat of Batman v Superman, basically, because, yes, I know he's the secondary main character, but you know that movie was all about Batman. Come on. It was like it was a secret Batman movie. And then Justice League, he had to get revived from the dead and then just decimated everyone, which was cool.
Yep. And
that was it. That's all he's had.
That's all he's done. And I'll maintain my whole, I think this Restore Snyderverse movement is silly on my part, because I think that Zack Snyder does great at directing stuff that he loves with his whole heart. He doesn't love superheroes, and he certainly doesn't love these superheroes, and it reflects in his work. I don't want to see an expectation subversion.
That is a hot take.
It's a super hot take, and I loved him in Watchmen. I loved his directorial debut in Watchmen. I liked Man of Steel on some level, but I think the DC heroes deserve like a Russo brothers, Kevin Feige deal, where it's directors that are in love head over heels with these characters, and they want to enrich their mythos, not subvert their mythos. Like, well, what if Superman pulls up and he's a nice guy? That doesn't really make sense. Let's make him a dick, and then he's a nice guy. Like, no, he's a nice guy. Leave it at that.
Yeah.
He's Clark. So, you know, I get hate in the comments for it. It's okay. You guys are all entitled to your opinion. But I think #Restore the Snyderverse, silly. Let's move on to the next thing. But this Tyler Hoechlin.
I do agree. Tyler Hoechlin is more Superman for me right now. Like, I know it's where you were going with that, with the angering of the fans to drum up those comments.
Right.
But
Get those
I do
comments
agree,
going.
actually. I like Henry Cavill, but at this point, I don't want to recast him yet. But let's just give Tyler Hoechlin the title for a little while. He is Superman. He's doing a great job as Superman. He's even jacking up, so he's like, you know.
Oh my God. The reason, if you guys are like, the costume looks awkward at times, it's because they keep shaving the muscle padding down, because he's been getting more yoked and they don't know what to do. I think by next season, they will take the muscle padding completely out of the suit, because Tyler Hoechlin, the same way Brandon Routh for Crisis on Infinite Earths got massive. If you guys like look at screen caps of him standing next to Tyler Hoechlin, he is just this larger than life man.
Yeah.
So these Supermen they're all so big. Even Tom Welling got huge too. Everyone's ripped. You
can't be me, the guy that's like, I mean, I can lift well on the bench, but I also really love pizza. So I'm Superman with a little bit of a beer gut going on down here.
You're the Mixel, the Mr. Mixel Pitalik version of Superman. You're the third dimensional imp Superman. Or fifth dimensional imp. Look,
But let's talk about the hot thing then, because we haven't talked about this yet. The actual Bizarro appearance. How are you enjoying their portrayal of Bizarro?
yeah, look, Bizarro is always kind of a goofy character. Like in depending on the cartoon, right? He's mainly played for laughs than being this menacing threat. This Bizarro is a monster. He's scary. Yeah. He's terrifying on screen. I think Tyler Hoechlin's portraying him like usually they did the whole Barry Allen thing before where they swooped his hair down. He's like, I'm evil Barry Allen. But this works. Like his hair coming down, him being more disheveled. It works so well because we've created this one season of this clean cut Superman. So to have his antithesis on screen, it's amazing. I like it. I'm having fun with it. I think that they're going to get a little bit more camp down the road when eventually they have that inevitable conversation. So we're going to get some like, Superman.
I was gonna say, I'll just straight up ask it because we both know that I sometimes am not fully paying attention. I haven't missed it. He hasn't spoken, right? Like
no. He doesn't. He hasn't spoken. He mumbled some things once at the end of the first time we saw him, but we haven't seen anything from from Bizarro just yet.
So, do you think he's gonna stay mean, or do you think he's gonna become straight goofy? Like,
It's going to be an interesting thing. I think if you're right and this isn't the whole season arc, then I think we're going to get good guy Bizarro. But if it's the whole season, then no, they have to kill him at the end or they have to stop him because he's the big bad. But if we're going to play our cards right, we do Bizarro to the mid-season, new big bad, whatever, then we can have Bizarro go off to a vague statement of Roy Harper. He's going to go hang out with Oliver's old friend, whatever, and we'll see. Give him the outsider or the I think they were called the outsiders, right? Not the outsiders.
What do you think they're going to play his origin as in this one? Because he's been from alternate universes. He's been created by science. He's been.
Yeah.
This was buried underneath rubble. Like we all thought it was Doomsday Day one.
I think it sounds like they ran an experiment under the rubble because he's wearing that containment suit. They created him. They 100% synthesized him. He's a being created via the X-Kryptonite and a Virgin Superman's DNA is my take.
So do you think it's the first attempt before they were like, well, why don't we put it in people with a mind? Because we can't control this one.
Maybe, but it sounded like that woman was purposefully trying to get Bizarro out of the mines. Like her whole demeanor and like making them fight, it seemed very intentional. So I'm not sure, but I'm excited to see where this one goes. For sure.
Yeah, I like that he's the big bad because I do feel like at least we're not rushing to the big things. Like we haven't had an official Zod. Like we've had the Spirit and all that. We haven't had Zod. We haven't had Doomsday, but we're getting Superman fights, which I'm happy with. So you could tell that they're planning for the long form and they're not doing what the Flash did, where it's like season 1, Reverse Flash. Guys, you do realize he doesn't have any other solid villains other than Captain Cold. Like what was the plan here? Where was this going to go?
and the thing is, I still think they did season 1 beautifully with the Reverse Flash, and then they were like, well, I guess he's done. Like, no, he's not done. You didn't stop him. Like, there's more. But I want to see Tom Cavanaugh Reverse Flash against this Superman. Like, I want to see them throw down a little bit. I know that seems silly, but he has this line on Crisis on Earth X where he's talking to Kara. He goes, your cousin, I've raced him before. I'm faster. And it's camp and it's corny, but Tom Cavanaugh's delivery is beautiful, and he's already directed the what do you call it?
Don't get my hopes up that we're gonna have a season with the Reverse Flash messing with Superman, because that would be amazing.
Oh, it'd be perfect. Because I cannot think of a better antagonist for Superman than Reverse Flash. Because Superman, no matter how hard he goes, he's not going to be as fast as a speedster. Yeah. And the time travel aspects of it, and like Superman being a character whose history is so integral to him, you get a guy who fucks with history on the regular. That's a terrible situation.
It would be great if they also Grant Gustin shows up for a quick cameo, but then, hey, I'm going to go through the timeline and figure out what's going on. And he's off the season. Like, he doesn't show up again. So it really is just Superman versus Reverse Flash.
Right? And then maybe he pulls at the end with like a better looking suit and hits him in the face. It's like one super punch. You know, we can dream, guys. We can sit here and dream that we can have Grant Gustin on a show that deserves him, because he's so fun on screen. He's the heart of that other thing. That's why we still watch the bullshit. But I think that's like all we have to say about this.
Yeah, that was it. I mean,
episode.
We just had to finish this. I wanted to specifically mention Bizarro and make sure I didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
I don't deny my ADD does kick in where I'm like, Bizarro. What did Huston say on Discord 3 weeks ago?
Right. Yeah. No, same boat. But yeah, guys, We're absolutely Marvel and DC. We'll be back after the Olympic break with Superman and Lois, and maybe with a Young Justice trailer review coming up in the next couple days.
Yeah. Wait. Since when does anyone else do the outro? That's my shtick.
I took it from you, man.
What the hell?
It was my moment.
Are you my Reverse Flash?
Basically, I'm Reverse Benny.